The massive alien ship appeared on a quiet Tuesday morning, its silver hull gleaming against Earth's blue sky. For Commander James Reynolds, standing in the Earth Defense Force headquarters, it marked the beginning of humanity's greatest test. Though he didn't know it yet, the ship hung motionless above New York, twice the size of the largest human aircraft carrier. Its smooth surface showed no weapons, no battle scars, just elegant curves that seemed to deny the very concept of war. Smaller vessels emerged from its sides, their lights pulsing in what appeared to be a peaceful greeting. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," reported Tom Wilson, the lead communications officer. His fingers danced across the holographic display as he worked to decode the incoming signal. It's in perfect English." Reynolds crossed his arms, his weathered face reflecting in the command center's windows. 20 years of military service had taught him one thing: if something seemed too good to be true, it usually was. The alien message echoed through every device on Earth. "Greetings, people of Earth. We are the Galactic Council, a union of peaceful civilizations. We come to welcome you into our family of species." Over the next few days, the Council representatives met with Earth's leaders. They showed incredible technology, cures for diseases, clean energy systems, and faster-than-light travel. They smiled, or what passed for smiling in their species, and spoke of unity, peace, and prosperity. But Reynolds noticed things others missed. "Run those scans again," he ordered late one night, speaking to Mary Parker, his best sensor technician. The young woman nodded, her fingers flying over the controls. "Sir, I found something," she said after an hour. "When their ships change position, there's a momentary flicker in their hull plating. It's like they're hiding something." Reynolds leaned closer to the screen. The data showed what appeared to be weapon ports, hundreds of them, hidden behind sophisticated cloaking technology. The Council's ships weren't peaceful diplomatic vessels. They were warships in disguise. The discovery led to more questions, more secret scans, and more disturbing findings. Bill Cooper, a junior analyst with a talent for code breaking, found encrypted transmissions between Council ships. Working through sleepless nights, he decoded fragments that chilled Reynolds to the bone. Harvest potential, military capability, suitable for integration, control measures. Reynolds took his findings to the World Security Council in a closed-door session. The evidence was clear. The peaceful Galactic Council was anything but peaceful. Their true intention wasn't to welcome humanity. It was to enslave them. "We need to play along," Reynolds argued to the gathered leaders. "Make them think we're grateful, naive, eager to please. Meanwhile, we prepare." The plan was approved. While Earth's officials smiled and nodded at Council proposals, human scientists secretly studied their technology. Military bases were hidden underground. New weapons were developed, combining human ingenuity with stolen alien concepts. The Council representatives never suspected. They saw what they expected to see: a young, impressionable species awed by their superior technology. They didn't notice the determination in human eyes, the careful study of their weaknesses, the quiet preparation for war. 6 months passed. The Council grew more confident, thinking their deception was working perfectly. They didn't realize that every friendly gesture, every technological gift, every diplomatic meeting was giving humanity more tools, more knowledge, more advantages for the coming conflict. As Reynolds watched another Council ship land, bringing more peacekeepers to Earth, he allowed himself a small smile. The aliens thought humans were simple, trusting creatures. They would learn, too late, that humanity had survived and thrived on Earth for one simple reason. They were the perfect predators, patient enough to wait for the right moment to strike. The war hadn't started yet, but its seeds were being planted, and when it finally began, the galaxy would learn why humans had dominated their home planet for so long. The Council's mask began to slip 6 months into Earth's peaceful integration. What started as gentle suggestions turned into firm demands. Their true nature emerged, like a shark slowly circling its prey. We must insist on overseeing your military installations, the Council's main representative, High Commander Reed, announced during a global broadcast. His silver skin gleamed under the lights, but his eyes were cold. It's for your own protection, of course. Behind closed doors, Commander Reynolds and his team worked tirelessly. The Earth Defense Force had transformed an old mining facility into their secret command center, buried deep within the Rocky Mountains. Here, away from the Council's watching eyes, humanity's real strength grew. We've cracked another layer of their security, reported Lisa White, their top intelligence officer. Her face was tired from endless nights of work, but her eyes sparkled with discovery. You need to see this, Commander. The holographic display filled with images that made Reynolds' blood run cold. 12 other species, all conquered by the Council, now served as slave soldiers in their endless wars. The images showed proud warrior races reduced to mindless troops, their bodies enhanced with cruel technology that stripped away their free will. That's what they planned for us, Reynolds said quietly. They've done this before. We're just the next in line. But the Council had made a crucial mistake. They assumed humans were like the others, direct, predictable, easy to control once their military was seized. They didn't understand that humans had perfected the art of hidden resistance over thousands of years of warfare. Operation Shadow Shield moved into high gear. While Council observers watched empty military bases filled with outdated equipment, real training happened in underground facilities. When alien sensors monitored official weapons tests, the real experiments took place in remote ocean depths. Every Council gift of technology was secretly taken apart, studied, and improved upon. They think we're like children playing with toys, said Dr. Robert Ward, head of the reverse engineering team. He held up what looked like a simple Council energy cell. But we've already made this 10 times more powerful. They have no idea what we're capable of. The Council's arrogance grew with each passing day. They placed more advisors in Earth's governments, pushed for more control, and spoke down to human leaders as if they were simple creatures needing guidance. All the while, humanity's hidden strength grew. Underground factories worked day and night, producing weapons that combined Earth's brutal efficiency with alien technology. Soldiers trained in new ways of fighting that the Council would never expect. Ships were built in secret lunar bases, their designs unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Look at these poor humans, one Council member was overheard saying. So eager to please, so easy to control. Reynolds smiled when he heard the recording. The aliens thought humans were showing respect when they bowed their heads. They didn't realize they were hiding their eyes that burned with determination and carefully controlled rage. 3 more months passed. The Council began moving more warships into the solar system, preparing for what they thought would be a simple takeover. Their massive vessels took up positions around Earth, Mars, and the Moon, their crews confident in their superiority. In the secret command center, Reynolds watched the enemy ships on his display. Each one was tracked, studied, its weaknesses noted. Humanity's trap was almost ready. Sir, Lisa called out one evening, they're preparing to demand our nuclear disarmament. The message is scheduled for tomorrow morning. Reynolds nodded. This was the moment they'd been waiting for. He pressed a button on his command console, sending a single encoded message to resistance cells worldwide. Remember the plan. Wait for the signal. As night fell over Earth, millions of humans went about their normal lives, appearing peaceful and compliant. But in hidden bunkers, secret bases, and underwater facilities, humanity's real power waited. The Council thought they were watching sheep being led to slaughter. They were about to discover they'd been living alongside wolves in sheep's clothing. The true war was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Council's final demand came at dawn. High Commander Reed's face filled every screen on Earth, his silver features twisted in what he thought was a friendly smile. For the safety of all, Earth must surrender its nuclear weapons within 24 hours, he announced. This is non-negotiable. In the Rocky Mountain Command Center, Commander Reynolds watched the broadcast with a calm that worried even his closest officers. He pressed a single red button on his command console. "Send the signal," he ordered. "It's time to show them who we really are." Across Earth, hidden bases hummed to life. In the depths of the Pacific Ocean, massive hangar doors opened silently. Behind the dark side of the moon, hundreds of stealth ships powered up their engines. Years of preparation were about to pay off. The Council's flagship hummed above New York, its massive form casting a shadow over the city. Reed stood on its bridge, watching the planet below with satisfaction. His sensors showed nothing unusual, just another peaceful day on this soon-to-be slave world. Then everything changed. The first sign that something was wrong came when their long-range scanners went dark. Then their communication systems failed. In orbit, hidden human satellites activated powerful jamming fields that Earth scientists had reverse-engineered from Council technology. "What's happening?" Reed demanded, his confidence cracking for the first time. Before anyone could answer, the space around his fleet erupted with activity. Hundreds of ships seemed to appear from nowhere, their stealth systems dropping to reveal vessels unlike anything the Council had ever seen. They weren't the sleek, energy-based ships the Council used. These were brutal, practical machines built for one purpose: war. "Impossible," Reed shouted as the first reports came in. Their technology was primitive just yesterday, but humanity had never been primitive. They had just been patient. The human ships struck with devastating efficiency. While Council vessels relied on energy shields and plasma weapons, Earth's ships used simple kinetic weapons, railguns firing chunks of metal at incredible speeds. The Council's shields, designed to stop energy attacks, proved useless against old-fashioned physical projectiles. From the ocean depths, massive submarines launched missiles that no alien sensor could detect. Hidden mountain bases fired electromagnetic pulses that scrambled Council systems. Every weakness humans had discovered in 6 months of studying their allies was exploited. In lunar orbit, the first major battle unfolded. Council ships found themselves fighting an enemy that broke every rule of space combat they knew. Human vessels deliberately turned off their engines, letting momentum carry them silently through space. They played dead, only to come alive and strike when Council ships passed nearby. "How are they doing this?" Reed screamed as another of his ships exploded. "They're fighting like predators," his second-in-command finished, fear in his voice. Commander Reynolds watched the battle from his command center, directing Earth's forces with the precision of a surgeon. The Council had expected a simple surrender. Instead, they faced an enemy that had spent months preparing for this exact moment. "Target their command and control systems," Reynolds ordered. "Don't let them coordinate. Hunt them like we trained." The Council fleet tried to regroup to mount a defense, but they had never faced an enemy like humanity. Each human ship fought independently, making decisions on the spot, adapting to every situation. There was no central command to disrupt, no single strategy to counter. By sunset, the Council's mighty fleet was in ruins. Their ships either fled or drifted as burning wreckage in Earth's orbit. High Commander Reed's flagship, once so proud and powerful, limped away from Earth with massive battle damage. In the command center, Reynolds received reports from around the world. The price had been high. Many brave humans had died in the battle. But Earth had won its first major victory. "Send word to all forces," Reynolds commanded. "Phase 1 is complete. Prepare for Phase 2. We take the fight to them." The Council had wanted Earth's nuclear weapons. Instead, they had awakened humanity's true nature. The war had begun, and the galaxy's self-proclaimed masters were about to learn what it meant to face humanity at its full strength. 3 weeks after Earth's first victory, the Council returned with what they called the Punishment Fleet. 5,000 warships emerged from faster-than-light travel, their weapons charged and ready. This time, they wouldn't underestimate humanity. But humanity had been busy too. Commander Reynolds stood in the new battle control room on Mars Base 1, watching the massive enemy fleet approach. Around him, Officers coordinated Earth's forces with calm efficiency. The past weeks had been spent preparing for this moment. "Show them our newest surprise," Reynolds ordered. In space around Mars, hundreds of asteroids suddenly changed course. What the Council thought were simple rocks revealed themselves as camouflaged human battle stations. Dr. Ward's team had covered them with the same materials as the asteroid belt, making them invisible to alien sensors. "Multiple targets acquired," reported Captain Mike Brown from his position near Jupiter. Ghost Fleet moving into position. The Ghost Fleet was humanity's newest weapon. They had taken the Council's own cloaking technology and improved it, creating ships that were truly invisible. Not even the Council's best sensors could find them. The battle began with a trap. The Council fleet moved forward confidently, their sensors showing only a small group of human ships defending Mars. They didn't realize they were flying into a carefully planned killing zone. "Now," Reynolds commanded. Human ships appeared from nowhere, emerging from behind every moon and asteroid. The Ghost Fleet cloaked behind the Council's lines. In seconds, the hunters became the hunted. But the Council hadn't come unprepared. Their ships launched new weapons, energy beams that could cut through Earth's strongest armor. They had learned from their last defeat and adapted. That's when humanity revealed their next surprise. "Deploy the boarding teams," Reynolds ordered. Small, fast ships shot out from human carriers. While the Council expected another space battle, humanity brought the fight to close quarters. Specially trained soldiers, wearing advanced combat suits, landed on Council ships and fought their way inside. This was where humanity's real advantage showed. The Council species had relied on energy weapons and automated systems for so long, they had forgotten how to fight hand-to-hand. Human soldiers, trained in close combat for thousands of years, proved devastating in the narrow corridors of alien ships. "They don't know what to do when we get close," reported team leader Jack Stone from inside a Council battleship. "Their weapons are useless in tight spaces. Our simple knives and physical combat training are more effective than their energy rifles." The Council commanders watched in horror as humans demonstrated why they were Earth's apex predators. Human soldiers moved like wolves in packs, using teamwork and brutal efficiency. When energy shields stopped their bullets, they used simple metal blades. When one tactic failed, they instantly tried another. "They're not fighting fair," a Council commander screamed as humans breached his bridge. "Nature never does," Reynolds replied over the captured communication channel. The battle raged for hours. Council ships found their advanced weapons weren't enough against human ingenuity. When the aliens adapted to one tactic, humans would switch to another. They fought like Earth's most successful predators, adapting, learning, and never giving up. Halfway through the battle, the Council tried to turn Mars' orbit into a killing field with automated drones. Humanity responded by turning off all their ships' power, drifting silently through space, using only momentum and manual controls. The drones, programmed to target energy signatures, found nothing. "This is impossible," the Council's fleet commander transmitted. "You were primitives just months ago." "No," Reynolds responded. "We were just waiting to show our true nature." As the battle entered its final phase, the Council fleet broke formation and retreated. Their mighty punishment fleet had been reduced to scattered groups of damaged ships, running from the very prey they had come to hunt. In the Mars Command Center, Reynolds watched them flee. The victory had cost many human lives, but it had proven something important. Humanity wasn't just fighting back. They were evolving warfare itself. "Send word to Earth," he ordered. "The home system is secured. Now we take the fight to their territory. It's time to free the other species they enslaved." The war was far from over, but the galaxy was learning a crucial lesson. Never underestimate humanity's ability to fight, adapt, and win. The captured Council database revealed a dark truth. 12 species enslaved across 30 star systems. Each race broken, their spirits crushed, forced to fight the Council's wars. But humanity had a message for them. Chains were meant to be broken. Commander Reynolds stood before the World Security Council, presenting the most ambitious military plan in human history. "We strike all slave worlds simultaneously," he explained, pointing to a holographic map of the galaxy. "The Council won't expect us to help others while we're still fighting our own war." Intelligence Officer Lisa White stepped forward, holding up a small device. "We've developed something special. We call it the Freedom Signal. It disrupts the Council's control implants without harming the enslaved species." Operation Liberation began on a quiet space morning. Human fleets, now masters of stealth and surprise, appeared above 12 different worlds at exactly the same time. The Council's overseers never saw them coming. On the forest world of the bear-like warriors, humanity's ghost fleet emerged from nowhere. The Council guards raised their energy shields, expecting an orbital bombardment. Instead, small pods rained from the sky, broadcasting the Freedom Signal. "Watch," Reynolds commanded from his flagship. Thousands of enslaved warriors suddenly stopped, their control implants going dark. Generations of suppressed rage surfaced in their eyes. The Council guards found themselves facing their former slaves, now free and very, very angry. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. The winged people of the gas giants broke their chains and took to their skies. The crystal dwellers emerged from their mines, no longer bound by Council technology. Each species remembered who they were, and their fury shook the stars. But it was Earth's ground forces that truly showed the galaxy how to fight. Human soldiers dropped into combat zones, using simple metal shields against energy weapons. They taught the freed slaves how to fight with whatever they could find. A Council commander watched in horror as his forces were defeated by former slaves, wielding nothing but mining tools, led by human combat instructors. "They fight like monsters," the commander transmitted before his base fell. "No," replied Reynolds over the captured channel. "We fight like humans, and we're teaching others to do the same." The Council's empire began to crack. News spread from system to system. Stories of human warriors who appeared from nowhere, freed slaves, and disappeared again. Tales of Earth's soldiers fighting alongside former slaves, showing them that even the mightiest oppressor could fall. On a desert world, Council forces found themselves facing human tanks rolling across the dunes. They fired energy weapons, but the tanks were covered in simple sand, reflecting the beams. Basic tactics from Earth's old desert wars proved devastating against advanced alien technology. "How are they doing this?" demanded High Commander Reed from his distant command center. "How are they coordinating attacks across such vast distances?" The answer was simple: they weren't. Each human fleet operated independently, making its own decisions, adapting to local conditions. Just as humanity's strength came from its diversity, its military power came from letting each unit think and fight in its own way. The freed species quickly learned from their human liberators. The bear warriors combined their strength with human tactics. The winged people learned guerrilla warfare, striking from above when least expected. The crystal dwellers turned their mining skills into weapons. 1 month into Operation Liberation, half of the Council's slave worlds were free. The others were in open rebellion. The empire that had stood for thousands of years was falling, brought down by the very primitives they had tried to enslave. In his command ship, Reynolds received a message from Earth. The World Security Council had a new title for humanity: the Liberators. Other species were already using it, speaking of humans with a mixture of awe and gratitude. "We're not finished," Reynolds reminded his crew. "The Council still holds their home systems. They'll fight even harder now that we've shown them what we can do." The freed species sent representatives to Earth, asking to join the fight. The Council had tried to make the galaxy fear humanity. Instead, they had given the galaxy hope. The final battle was coming, and this time, humanity wouldn't fight alone. The Council's home system was a fortress of 10,000 ships. Behind 3 artificial rings of space stations, their homeworld waited. For 10,000 years, no enemy had ever breached their defenses, but they had never faced humans before. Commander Reynolds stood on his flagship's bridge, looking at the massive enemy fleet ahead. Around him, ships from Earth flew alongside vessels from the freed species. The Bear Warriors had brought their strongest battleships. The Winged People's swift fighters darted between larger vessels. The Crystal Dwellers' mining ships had been turned into powerful drilling weapons. "They're deploying their ultimate weapon," Lisa White reported, her voice tense. "Sir, it's a sun killer." The massive device emerged from behind the Council's homeworld. It was designed to make stars go supernova, destroying entire solar systems. The Council's final message was simple: surrender, or they would destroy their own sun, taking everyone with them. "They're desperate," Reynolds said calmly. "Desperate enemies make mistakes, and we've planned for this." The human commander opened a channel to all Allied ships. "Remember the plan. The Council thinks they know how we fight. Let's show them something new." The battle began with a sight that confused the Council. The human fleet and their allies turned away, appearing to retreat. High Commander Reed laughed on his bridge, thinking they had won. Then the real attack began. 1,000 small objects suddenly appeared, moving at incredible speeds toward the Council's defenses. They had been hidden in the retreating fleet's wake. Simple metal rods, accelerated to near-light speed using human mass driver technology. Kinetic strikes. Reed screamed, "Raise all shields." But the Council's energy shields, designed to stop energy weapons, couldn't fully block simple physics. The rods tore through their first defense ring, creating gaps in their perfect formation. Through these gaps, human ships emerged from stealth, leading the charge. Behind them came the Bear Warriors, their ships now equipped with human-designed armor. The Winged People's fighters darted through the chaos, striking critical systems with surgical precision. The Council launched their automated defense drones. The Crystal Dwellers responded by broadcasting false signals, confusing the drones' targeting systems. Humanity had taught their allies well, but the Council still had their sun killer. The massive device powered up, threatening to destroy everything. "Now," Reynolds commanded. From the darkness of space, a small human ship appeared right next to the sun killer. It had been waiting there for hours, its crew enduring dangerous radiation levels. Dr. Ward's team had found a way to survive near the device by using no power at all, simple lead shielding and passive cooling. "This is Strike Team Alpha," reported Captain Tom Wilson from the small ship. "We're in position." The team had one job: plant old-fashioned chemical explosives on the sun killer's critical points. No energy signatures to detect, no complex systems to fail. Just simple, reliable human ingenuity. "For Earth," Wilson said, and triggered the detonators. The sun killer exploded, its chain reaction failing. The Council's ultimate weapon had been defeated by technology the humans had mastered centuries ago. High Commander Reed watched in horror as his defenses crumbled. Human ships fought unlike anything he had seen. Some charged straight in while others laid traps. Some used advanced technology while others relied on simple physics. There was no pattern to predict, no single strategy to counter. "How?" he demanded over an open channel. "How do you keep defeating our superior technology?" "Because we never forgot our roots," Reynolds replied. "You relied on technology. We relied on being human." The battle raged for hours. The Council's mighty fortress fell piece by piece. Their perfect formations broke against human unpredictability and the combined strength of their former slaves. In his flagship, Commander Reynolds watched the Council's final defenses fall. The price had been high. Many brave humans and allies had died. But they had achieved the impossible. "Send word to Earth," he ordered. "The Council's reign is over. A new era begins." The battle would be known as humanity's dawn, the day when the galaxy learned that true strength comes not from technology, but from the spirit to use it wisely. 1 month after the Council's fall, representatives from 50 species gathered on Earth. The Grand Meeting Hall in Geneva had been specially built to accommodate beings of all sizes and forms. From towering bear warriors to floating crystal dwellers, They came to decide the galaxy's future. Commander Reynolds stood at the podium, his battle-worn uniform replaced by formal dress. The scars on his face told the story of hard-fought victories, but his eyes showed hope for peace. The council ruled through fear and control. He addressed the gathering. We must build something better. Not an empire, but a true alliance of equals. The changes across the galaxy were already visible. Former slave worlds buzzed with activity as people rebuilt their civilizations. Council technology, once used to oppress, was being transformed to help and heal. Dr. Ward's team had turned the control implant technology into medical devices. We can heal injuries that were once fatal, he explained to a group of alien doctors. But we'll never use this technology to control others. Lisa White, now heading the new Galactic Intelligence Agency, worked to ensure no one could ever build another Sunkiller. Her team found and destroyed the Council's hidden weapons, sharing the information openly with all species. Secrets and lies led to the Council's power, she told her mixed-species staff. Truth and openness will prevent another tyrant from rising. But humanity's most important role was teaching others how to protect themselves. On a dozen worlds, human instructors trained local defenders. They taught not just fighting techniques, but the principles behind them. The Council relied on one way of fighting. Captain Brown explained to his class of alien students. They forgot that strength comes from adapting, from finding new solutions. That's what made humans successful on Earth. We never stopped learning, never stopped evolving. The Bear Warriors learned to combine their natural strength with tactical thinking. The Winged People developed their own unique style of aerial combat. The Crystal Dwellers turned their mining expertise into advanced defensive systems. Young aliens studied human history with fascination. They learned how a species that started with sticks and stones reached the stars. They understood why humans had dominated their home planet, not just through strength, but through endless adaptation and innovation. Your cities are all different, remarked a Crystal Dweller to Reynolds during a tour of Earth. Your weapons, your tools, your ways of thinking. Such variety. That's our true strength, Reynolds replied. We never found one perfect solution. We kept trying new things, keeping what worked, learning from what failed. The Council's former homeworld was transformed into a center of learning. Their mighty fortress became a university where species shared knowledge freely. In the same halls where the Council had plotted conquest, students now studied art, science, and history. But humanity's greatest legacy was teaching others to think for themselves. Former slave species learned to question, to innovate, to find their own paths. The galaxy entered an age of diversity, where different approaches were celebrated, not suppressed. 6 months after the war's end, Reynolds stood on Mars, watching ships from dozens of worlds move peacefully through space. Human vessels flew alongside alien craft, all part of a joint exploration fleet. The Council thought we were primitives because we kept our old ways alongside new technology, he said to his gathered staff. They never understood that this made us stronger, not weaker. A message arrived from a distant star system. A new species had been discovered. Unlike the Council's approach of conquest, the Alliance sent peaceful representatives, but they also sent humans, ready to defend freedom if needed. We're not the galaxy's rulers, Reynolds told the Alliance Assembly. We're its protectors. The Council tried to make everyone the same. We'll fight to let everyone be different. The war had ended, but humanity's role had just begun. They became known not just as warriors, but as teachers, healers, and guardians of liberty. The galaxy learned that true strength comes not from controlling others, but from helping them grow. The Council had tried to make humanity their slaves. Instead, they had crowned them as something far greater, the guardians of freedom across the stars.